Good afternoon. My name is David Jacobsen. Joining me is my younger brother, Peter Jacobsen. Welcome, Peter. I'm standing at Gearhart Golf Links on a beautiful day in the state of Oregon.
Well, I'm down in the state of Florida. I'm not wearing a mask because I'm in my house and I'm getting ready to go out and hit some balls, and it's about 88 degrees. So I can tell by that beautiful Columbia jacket that you've got on that it's a little cooler than 88 in Oregon.
I think it's 48 degrees here, so it's a little bit chillier. So good for you. What I thought we could do is spend a little time just reminiscing about growing up in Gearhart. As you fondly remember, and I do, our family vacation was 2 weeks in Gearhart every summer, and that 2 weeks in Gearhart was filled with golf virtually sun up to sundown at Astoria and here at Gearhart. But what do you remember most about coming to Gearhart as a kid and hanging out?
I always look forward to going down with David, Peter, Paul, Susie, and Mom and Dad, because we always rented a house somewhere right across the street from Gearhart Golf Links, and we could walk to the golf course. I remember the freedom that I felt teeing it up with you and brother Paul and Mom and Dad and sister Susie, and literally going around and around and around all day long, carrying our clubs and really learning how to play golf, how to hit good shots, how to work on our short game, how to chip and putt. I remember so much about learning the game in between 1 and 9. Hitting all the balls, picking them up. We had a little shag bag. We would hit with Dad, or just you and me, or Paul or Susie. We would give each other lessons, go pick them up and do it again. Back and forth, back and forth. And those are the most wonderful days, David. And I would imagine you feel the same, because we had no responsibilities, no family. We had nothing to do except play golf. And it's kind of fun to think back to those days.
One of the things I remember as you bring up that little range, I'm looking at it right now. It was about 190-yard range that we would hit those practice balls that we'd pick up. But we rented a house one year on the ridge up here, and Dad would sit on the porch as the sun is coming down, and he'd be drinking his beer or his gin and tonic. And I know he couldn't see us, but he would shout down instructions on what we needed to do with our golf swing. He never ended trying to coach us to become better at striking that ball.
One of the things, David, that I found that helped me so much as I progressed in my tour career, and I ended up going to play in quite a few British Opens or Open Championship, was it reminded me so much of playing at Gearhart and Astoria. And it takes me back to the fact that Gearhart and Astoria is authentic links. There's not a lot of fancy stuff built. Nowadays, on golf courses and resorts, you've got big tees. Tee boxes are built in the air, and the greens are all up in the air, and the greens run off. And a lot of times you can't chip. You've got to putt or use a hybrid. And that's the one thing that we learned at Gearhart, was to chip and putt. It offers you a lot of opportunity to chip, putt, hit whatever kind of shot. And that's what I found over when I went to play. My first major was the British Amateur at St. Andrews when I was a senior at Oregon. And I was taken back by how similar it was to Astoria and Gearhart. Links golf, not a lot of walking. The greens were close to the next tees, and the bunkers were not treacherously deep like we see now in the game. So it was really a great learning experience for me. Of course, back when we were growing up, I had no idea I would play the tour. I hoped I would, but I didn't know if I would ever break 80 back then.
How about Gearhart back in the day? You talk about playing links golf courses and learning how to hit a different shot than what we're used to. Remember, they didn't irrigate. So they irrigated 17 fairways. The first fairway was irrigated, and then the tees were sort of irrigated as well as the greens. But we used to hit those drives 350 yards as 15-year-old kids, and we thought we were on top of the world.
Felt like Dustin Johnson.
That's right.
That was the one thing that reminded me so much now. I look back how it helped me at the Open Championship, whether I'm playing Troon, Turnberry, St. Andrews. The fairways there are rock hard because there's no irrigation system. The fairways at Gearhart were rock hard. So if you hit the low screamer off the tee, as long as it was straight, it would roll forever.
Right.
But to me, when I play a home golf course like I would at Gearhart, I want to play different holes and have different challenges. And because of the weather change, that's what you get at Gearhart. And I find it to be very challenging and engaging, depending on which time of year you play.
Do you remember growing up? I recall how ecstatic you were when you made your first hole-in-one.
Right there in front of the clubhouse.
I'm looking right here at what was that first practice hole. It was really just a practice hole, but I remember you claiming it as a hole-in-one, and I argued with you because it really wasn't. It wasn't a hole.
Because back then, you know how elusive a hole-in-one is, and when I knocked that in from it was 80, 90 yards, I celebrated because I didn't know if I was ever going to make another hole-in-one. Yeah. Fortunately, I've had a job over these last 40 years that allows me to play a lot of golf. So I've had a few shots at it.
It's 95 yards. I took a laser shot of it before the talk. So 95 yard shot.
Back then, we were probably hitting a 6 or a 7 iron.
And I'm adjacent right behind me to what was the putting green. Remember that enormous putting green that was in front of what was the old clubhouse? We'd ride our bikes over here with the putters on the handlebars, golf balls in our back pocket. We'd come over here and putt after dinner if we weren't hitting balls, and just have the greatest time. It was so much fun.
One thing, David, that golf really never leaves you. Once it gets in your blood, like it did when we were kids, and then I played on tour and tournaments all these years, but now I'm down here in Florida where we live now, and Jan's up there in Portland with you and seeing family up there. I literally get up every day and I go to the golf course and I chip and I putt and I hit balls and I play a few, and then I come back and I repeat. Step one, step two, go back to step one. Because once it permeates your body and gets in your blood, you don't really want to do anything else. To this day, I played yesterday over on the East Coast of Florida. Tomorrow I'm playing here in Naples. And aren't we always working on something? Working on a better turn, a better release. But that hasn't changed, David. I'm almost 67, and that hasn't changed in over 50 years, and it never will change. But it all started right there at Gearhart.
It did. Your memories of Gearhart. It's been a couple years since you've had a chance to come back here, but some of the other things that you can remember about Gearhart. Do you remember a little cross-country golf we used to try and play down here from the first tee all the way out to the number 4 green, and just being out here at night, sneaking on after the pro shop had closed?
Yeah, that was where we really gained a lot of friends, David, when we would play over, across, and around the people playing the regulation golf as we're playing from one corner to the other. And they go, "Who are those little jerks?" I'm David Jacobsen. I always said that. I did not want them to know my name. But the other memory of Gearhart, remember when you and I were coming back from the Open Championship, or might have been the World Match Play Championship, and we put together the Metal Players Club, where we brought down, 24 of our friends from Portland, and we played matches, kind of like a Ryder Cup. And that was so much fun. It was just a bunch of guys that love golf, handicaps included, and we played a competition, your team against my team. And we did that, maybe 3 or 4 years. It was so fun. We started right there at Gearhart.
Well, as a reminder, I thought of that exact same thing as we were talking about having this talk. Though when we played, we brought our kids along. Those kids were maybe 3, 4 years old. Now those kids have children of their own. So time has flown by, Peter, from when we first did that. But the passion for golf, for you, I know, and for me, has not changed. I can't wait to be with my friends. I can't wait to see old friends here at Gearhart. And I'm sure you're the same way with the people that you play golf with.
Well, just earlier today, David, I drove up to the Concession Golf Club where the World Golf Championship is this week. I'm not working NBC this week. I just went up there with a couple of friends to scout out the golf course, and I saw a few friends, a few players, but for some reason, the sound of Dustin Johnson's golf ball coming off his driver sounds like a gunshot. Mine sounds like I forgot to take the head cover off my driver. So I'm always trying to figure out how I can hit it harder and farther. And so far at 67, I'm failing.
Peter, I'm the same way. I figure if I get that club throwing it harder, I can get that ball to go further again as well. But you know, this has been really fun. I've taken a lot of your time. I appreciate being able to take a few minutes to go through a little bit of reminiscing here, and I hope sooner rather than later you and I can come and we can enjoy another round here at Gearhart Golf Links. There's some changes that have taken place that I know you'd enjoy, and so this summer, hopefully when you're back in Portland and we can actually see each other, because we haven't been together in person for about a year, I'd look forward to a round of golf and telling stories and remembering the good times here.
As beautiful as that Columbia sportswear coat is, I hope we play and we can leave the coats in the car and we can go out in shirt sleeves.
I'm in. I'm in. Hey, Peter, great to see you. Good luck this week up at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, and I'll be watching. See ya. Thank you.
We'll talk to you later.